two stars with me right now. Martha Benetti, you know her. She's my co-host for today of Property Rights fame. And our governor of Virginia, Governor Terry McAuliffe. Governor, great to have you as always.
John, good to be back with you. Martha, good to be with you.
Jobs are going. Now, I got to get right to this Clean Power Plan, which this was part of the Dominion deal that we told that they had worked out, what I call the Frank Wagner compromise. President Trump gets elected. That's going to cost millions of jobs across the country. Trump kicks it to the curb, and we think it's done. And now here comes Governor McAuliffe trying to resurrect it from the ashes. Now, you're supposed to be the jobs governor. This thing is going to cost tens of thousands of jobs. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Plus, you don't even have the constitutional authority to get this done. Tell us what your thinking is here.
First of all, this is about job creation. I mean, John, get your head out of the sand and get in the 21st century. These are the jobs of the 21st century. I just mentioned before we started, look what we have been able to accomplish here by leaning in on clean energy. Right now, I mean, Virginia is viewed as a coal state, but things have evolved and changed. I mean, as you know, natural gas has totally changed the dynamic of energy. We're down to about 2,000 coal jobs in Virginia. I have 4.3 million workers in Virginia today. 2,000 directly get a paycheck from the coal business. I was just there in Abington yesterday. I was in Russell County talking about how we build this new economy for these folks who lost coal, textile, furniture, and tobacco. This is the space to do it. As I say, 75,000 jobs already in energy efficiency. I've worked very closely with Dominion on the energy efficiency issues that we're doing today. We've got nearly 4,000 solar jobs. These are the jobs, John, that are most important. And I can do this. In fact, I was just down in Russell County, gave them a $5.6 million grant. What they're going to do in their 9 schools and 16 buildings, bring energy efficiency to all of them. They're going to create hundreds of new jobs. They're going to save millions in utility costs. We need to be doing this all over the state. There's no question. Second thing, very important, John, you are from Hampton Roads and you understand this. Sea level rise is occurring. You can say whatever you want about it. This report just came out, 22 days a year flooding at our naval base. The report that just came out, the moderate, not the extreme, the moderate analysis shows that in the next 25 years, 228 days a year. Now, let me be very clear, John. Either we show the Department of Navy that we're serious about dealing with this issue, they are going to move that naval base. I have meetings with the Fleet Forces commander. I deal with the Pentagon on. This is not a joking matter. This is serious. That is worth billions of dollars investment to our Commonwealth. And the sea level is rising, and we have the largest naval base in the world. You can look at properties in Virginia Beach and in Norfolk. You go to Norfolk on a day that it rains, half the roads are closed. Mm-hmm. I was recently at an event with former Mayor Paul Frame. It was embarrassing. We had to stop, go around. So I'm trying to put Virginia at the forefront on energy efficiency, on clean energy. These are the new jobs of the 21st century. I want Virginia to lead it. I work with Dominion on these things. I mean, listen, we've had many meetings in the governor's office with Dominion on a lot of different issues. But let me tell you something. They have leaned in with me and helped me on my solar. I'm hoping we can make some major wind announcements in the very short-term future. I support nuclear. I've always been an advocate for nuclear. You want to talk about clean energy, John? There's no carbon emission.
But how does Obama's Clean Power Plan? I mean, that's a job.
It's not
killer. Why would you be in favor of that?
It's like what you used to hear on Medicaid expansion. You finally have seen the light and realized that you were wrong and I was right.
Yes, I did.
I'm telling you the same darn thing here on the clean energy. This is how you evolve and bring new business here to the Commonwealth of Virginia. I do nothing, John, that costs us jobs.
Why do you have to regulate it?
Well, you've got to get, first of all, I'm not joining RIGO. We're not joining the 16 states, as you know.
You're not joining RIGO?
No,
okay.
But we will trade with them, so it gives us a competitive market to bring our costs down.
You don't want to be Puerto Rico?
We're not.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, golly, if you're going to bring me on your show, you ought to know what you're talking about. I'm not joining that. We will trade with them, but that allows us to bring the efficiencies to save money here in Virginia and create jobs. I come down every day on jobs. I deal with this 24/7. I'm the most traveled governor in America. I'm leaving next week for my 28th trade mission to bring jobs back to Virginia. We've brought $16 billion back. I'm proud to say $4 billion more than any governor. I'm going to get $5 billion more done by the time I leave office. I want to hit that $20 billion mark. The most any governor's done is 13. Boom, $7 billion. And the good news, John, None of the $16 billion that we brought back has even impacted our economy yet. We're still not even through permits. The next governor and the next governor will benefit from that.
They're going to be able to take advantage of that.
They're going to get the full benefit of it.
So
5 years from now, you'll put my picture up the wall. I want to thank old Terry McAuliffe.
I will. Look, you have brought a lot of jobs to Virginia, and I've been your biggest cheerleader on that because jobs are not blue and they're not red. They're not Republican and they're not Democrats. You get a paycheck where you didn't have one, and if you were contributing to that, then you should be able to take full credit for that. So
I've had more Republicans come up and say, let me tell you something, I didn't vote for you, but I think you've done a heck of a job on job creation.
Well, my wife voted for you.
Huh?
My wife voted for
woman.
you. I did not. I voted for Cuccinelli.
It's all right.
Listen,
once the day the election's over, we got to work together.
But Ann did.
We are not red-blue. I get out of bed to make Virginia number one. It's not a color here in Virginia. We're all together. I want to be number one in all the 50 states. Look what we've done on renewable energy. Look what we've done on let me be clear with you, John. We're now leading America on cybersecurity.
Right.
650 companies. We're leading the nation on data centers. We are leading the nation today on unmanned aerial systems. Did you know I'm first governor last week? I went up in a drone myself. I drove it, took it up, landed it all myself. We were nowhere in these spaces 3 years ago. Today, we're leading the country. We could do it on clean energy as well.
On leading the country, the CEA, which is a nonpartisan organization, came out with a recent poll that said that Virginia voters back the Atlantic Coast Pipeline by nearly 2-1. You're on the right side of this issue. You support the Atlantic Coast Pipeline. And just wanted to hear you talk a little bit about the ACP. And it must feel good knowing that, this organization, it's a nonprofit, nonpartisan, across party lines. The majority of Virginians want the ACP.
Well, every poll I've seen, nearly 2/3 of the states support it. And what I've always said, number one, we're going to do it in the most environmental friendly way. So we're going to do it. This is going to bring cheap gas to Virginia. I mean, the stories have been so crazy out there that we're bringing it here and we're going to export it out of the country. None of that's true.
Crazy.
We don't even have an export terminal in Virginia.
That's
okay?
ridiculous.
But the stories I hear, let's just focus on the facts. This will create thousands of new jobs on the construction. Number two, I can tell you, because I do this every day, I got 2 major multi-billion-dollar projects trying to bring here to Virginia. The only reason I'm in the game is because of this pipeline. Cheap gas. Do it, protect our historic sites, protect our beautiful landscape. People don't know that we have twice as many pipelines in Virginia today as interstate miles.
That's absolutely correct.
You would think this was the first one ever built. It's not. Environmentally
We're
protected.
probably standing on one right now.
That's right. Yeah. Most Virginians have no idea.
And
miles
here's one
and
other
miles.
fallacy I think we ought to say, because the facts, what people talk about, have no idea. So we call false facts today. This is determined
fake news.
by FERC. This is not a governor's decision.
FERC.
Virginia does do a water and air permit. But let me be clear at DEQ. The statute determining whether they meet those regulations determined and passed by the General Assembly long before I got here. The law and the regulations determined by the General. If Dominion meets the regs set out by the General Assembly, I have no authority to call the DEQ and say, oh, they meet the regulations, but don't give them a permit. It's illegal. I have zero say on this pipeline. What I can lean in on, and I've said I want the individual stops, I want them all to be done environmentally correct. But this is a job creator. And, sometimes you get in the politics, but I will come down every time here in Virginia on job creation, because we just talked about, without jobs, you don't have anything. I have no money to invest in education or workforce development. We have nothing.
Right.
Jobs, and I want to say not only great job creation, 5.4 unemployment when I took office, 3.8 today, wages are up. So when we talk jobs, we're talking high and paid jobs.
Well, good jobs. That's the whole thing.
Wages are up. That's very important. These aren't like,
So let's get back to you.
Okay. Well, Martha was about to jump in there. She's something exciting.
I know. She's exciting. Weighing in again on the Clean Power Plan. Frank Wagner, Senator Wagner, you know him.
Sure.
Chairman of the Commerce Energy Committee, had a press conference last week, blasted you, basically said, have no constitutional authority for that. But a lot of people like me that are supporters of yours believe you did that simply for political reasons, because you're going to run for president in 2020, and you need cred with the extreme environmentalist wing of your party.
First of all, I got enough creds with the environmental community. The work I've done as chairman of the Chesapeake Bay, just reelected as that, the only governor reelected to head up you look at the work that we have done on our state parks, on the 1,174 treasures in Virginia we've done, record amount of investment we've done on water quality issues. I just, on Saturday night, got the Environmentalist of the Year award from the LCV. and a long list of. So I didn't need this for street cred. I mean, let's be honest, John. I last year came up with my executive order asking my Secretary of Natural Resources to begin to put a group together what we are going to do here with the Clean Power Plan. They had met with 8,000 stakeholders. They had 6 meetings around the Commonwealth of Virginia. Their recommendations, and everybody was part of it, Dominion, and we brought everybody, and I'd like to hear from everybody. The recommendations that came to me were, now that Trump was back in office, we should lead in Virginia. So I did Executive Directive number 11 to my state agencies. And listen, Frank Wagner is running for governor, and I wish him well. But the reason I did this was to get rid of hot air, not have him bring more hot air into the discussion.
So you're a responsive candidate for governor.
Candidate for governor, yeah. Go ahead, do what you're going to do, but, keep the hot air down a little bit. I'm trying to stop that. But I am worried, all joking aside, John and Martha, both of you know this. Just understand what I said about the Hampton Roads region. If we don't show we're serious on these issues, there is no question. I just recently toured Tangier Island. A third of the island's gone. They say in the next 20 years, the entire island will be gone. I mean, you're going to see what's going to happen in our valuable assets. Billions of dollars of waterfront properties are going to be underwater. We need to be out front. Last year we got a $120 million resiliency grant from the federal government, the number 1 state in America. You got to remember, Louisiana is number 1, New Orleans. Number 2, the most threatened region in the United States of America is Hampton Roads. We got to get in the game on this. It's not about us, but clearly our children and their children, this is going to impact them. And I'll tell you this, I come down every side on our military, and I am in these discussions with the admirals. They are so serious, and boy, let me tell you something. We better show we're paying attention to this, because they can put that naval base anywhere they want, and if we don't show we're being serious about this, they're going to move it.
Okay,
you play this back 20 years from today.
You're right, and we went through the same thing in 2013 with the transportation compromise. Admiral Halsey was on my show, and he said, you either fix your roads or I can't recommend any more aircraft carriers. I got to take them to Jacksonville. Final question, because they're chomping at the bit to get you out. I think you're going to run for president in 2020. I think if you're the Democratic nominee, you'd be the toughest opponent that Trump could have. I've told the president that.
What did he say?
He agreed with me. He's a smart guy, as you know.
Let me tell you this. I have 7 months here.
I told him he was you were the only guy that if you were to get the nomination that I thought would give him a tumble and be tough to beat, because you're a jobs guy. But how do you get nominated in a party that's moving so left?
Listen, I have no intentions of running for president. I am governor of Virginia, which I think is the greatest job in America. I got $5 billion of deals to close, John. I love doing what I'm doing. I'm not even going to think about my next step until I get out. I mean, I love this job. You see my schedule every day. We put it public. You're on my Twitter. I mean, we're doing 10, 12 events a day, every day, 7 days. I love this job. I probably love this job more than any governor in the history of America. I'm not thinking about anything else. And I love this state, and I just want to take it to the next level.
I think you're referring to Tom Perriello and his. I think John's referring to Tom Perriello in the party that is so extreme in his position. Am I right? As an example?
Well, if Terry McAuliffe is a 2020 Democratic nominee, he'll be the toughest candidate for Trump to beat. I think he beats everybody else. This would be the toughest.
Let me just say this about, we have a primary going on, and I am going to stand next day with whoever wins that primary. But just remember this, and it's not something I enjoy doing, but I signed close to 3,800 bills. I vetoed 120. Those 120 would have been very damaging to women, LGBT, bad for the environment, trying to restrict voter rights. We just can't go that place. This is where North Carolina went, and they cost them billions. Stay out of it. I always say I'm a fiscally conservative, pro-business Democrat, socially progressive. My job, voters don't ask much of us. You know what they want? They want a good paying job. They want their kids to get a quality education. They want to get on the roads and drive and go see their kids play a ball game, and it doesn't take all afternoon, and quality health care. That's it. That's what I stay focused on, that middle lane right there. And I just tell you, let the metrics speak for themselves. We've had great success, and I've had great working relationship with members of the General Assembly on economic development, on education, $1 billion last year, a record investment in education. Look what we've done on transportation. We've agreed more than we've disagreed. We disagree on some of the social stuff, but the social stuff could kill this state on job creation. I do this. I've been out to meet with the Apples, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons. They're not coming to a state that discriminates. Not happening. Stay out of it. Stay in the middle. Help people.
You get in, you'll win New Hampshire. Governor, we're out of time.
God bless you.
Thanks for being with us.